Good evening. According to my watch, it's 6 o'clock and we start sharp. Members and guests, good evening and welcome to our Chamber's annual dinner and our Business of the Year Awards. I'm so glad all of you are to make it through this snowstorm. Having snow this early is a little bit of a surprise, but nonetheless, we're glad that it looks like pretty much everybody's here tonight. To begin our evening, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our Chamber President, Rob Steiner, who is Vice President of Steiner Electric. Rob?
Thanks, Greg, and welcome to our annual awards dinner presentation. This dinner provides us with the opportunity to thank you, our members, for your support and all you do to help our community grow and to prosper. It is also an opportunity to celebrate business excellence. This year there are 42 businesses and charitable organizations that have been nominated for awards. To begin, I would like to recognize Travis Jansen of Network Health and thank him and his organization for being the premier sponsor for tonight's dinner. After dinner, Craig will give his report on the activities of the Chamber during the past year, and then Jeff Potts, the Executive Director for the historic West Bend Theater, will share memories of this landmark structure and tell us how they are bringing it back to life. Following Jeff's presentation, we will announce the winners of the 2019 Business of the Year Awards. These awards are especially prestigious as they are based on nominations by your peers, other business owners, and representatives. Now enjoy your evening. I'm going to turn the proceedings back to Craig. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. I'll have more on Network Health after dinner, but that will be in my remarks. This coming Monday is Veterans Day, and I would like to give a special welcome to any veterans besides myself who happen to be in the room. So I'd ask you to please stand and get a round of applause. Our lovely centerpieces have been provided by Amanda Strasberg from Consider the Lilies. Whoever has a birthday closest to Veterans Day, which is the 11th, at each table can take it home after the dinner. So, good luck to anyone that has that birthday. Now, please enjoy your dinner, and I'll be back with my remarks afterwards. You know, it's really hard to believe that 2019 is over so quickly. But then, you know, I say this every year. It seems like it's just going faster and faster. Through my years with the Chamber, members have required me to help them on all sorts of different issues. But none have been quite as challenging as their need for affordable health insurance. I've tried repeatedly to find a program that would really benefit the small businesses, particularly businesses with 20 employees or less. And it's proved to be basically the proverbial stone in my shoe because I had not been able to do anything with it. Finally, last November, there was a breakthrough through a chance encounter at a business after hours with Tim Jeziorsky of Richards Insurance. And that conversation led to a series of discussions and eventually a contract with Network Health. We are now able to provide you with a high-quality, cost-effective health plan. As a member of our Chamber, you are entitled to special discounted premiums, and as an employer, you'll be able to benefit from predictable fixed monthly rates, a fully insured plan, but only pay for the health care your employees receive. I think there's a video we want to see.
We've been operating in Wisconsin since 1959. We've changed quite a bit since then. But as far as I feel my employees is, you know, they're my second family. And some, you know, you go to everybody's business schools and they say you can't run it like that anymore, you gotta run it like a business. Well, my dad didn't build us that way.
I went through breast cancer in 2016 and everybody 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 was great.
Our employees like the network health options here. They like the whole operation of it. Like I said, as long as it stays in network health, you can switch the plan, but don't switch the company. So, and that's not me talking as the owner, that's my employees, and they're the ones that it's for, so.
We're having a seminar actually tomorrow at noontime over at City Hall. So if any of you have not signed up, I know we have about 25 or 30 folks that have already signed up, but we do have a registration clipboard that you could sign up before you leave tonight, and we'll be glad to add you to the program if you're interested. So far, we have welcomed this year 33 new members to our organization. We have had 24 ribbon cuttings and 2 groundbreakings. We purchased airtime on WBD. If some of you longer members remember, we had a local business spotlight years ago until the radio station was sold. So it was great that we were able to work with the station and purchase some airtime. And it's been so successful that we had 35 of our members have used it. I've just signed a contract with them for next year, so it will be continuing as we go forward. Rick Jensen, who is the radio host, is terrific, and he's been able to take even people who are a little bit shy in front of a microphone and get them to be very comfortable. All of our events, particularly ribbon cuttings, have been filmed by John Elke, Patrick Dunn, and Tom of community television, and are aired throughout the year on the station. My special thanks to all 3 of them. We've also partnered with the Better Business Bureau to bring 2 organizations, each with over 100 years of service to business and the community together. And I have a member of the Better Business Bureau with me tonight. Jim, thanks for being here. Over the past year, Tuesday News Clips, our online weekly report, has posted over 2,500 community announcements on behalf of our members. Recently, we added tips from the IRS, and we have an incredible, most chambers have about a 20% open rate. Our open rate is at 35% and has gone as high as 40%. Chamber check sales continue to be strong, and we are preparing for our busiest season. November and December, of course, checks can only be cashed by our chamber members, so it keeps the money in the community. We had our second Bye-Bye Bullseye Shoot at the range of Richfield this past February, and we had 25 of our members had an opportunity to test their marksmanship at that event. We plan to offer it again in the coming year. Our home show, we just had our 45th annual home show. It's the Home Sporting and Recreation Expo. The name keeps changing, and I have trouble trying to keep up with the name, but that's Jill. It was a success. We had over 100 booths that were sold and 2,000 attendees. Our premier sponsor was West Bend Mutual, so thank you, folks. We had perfect weather for our chamber trip to Scandinavia, starting in Copenhagen, Denmark, and we visited, in addition, Sweden, Norway. Next year we're going to be going to Egypt. If anybody is interested in joining us, please call me. The weather was perfect for our 29th annual golf outing at the West Bend Country Club. We welcomed 110 golfers and many encore sponsors to our event. On behalf of the Chamber, I would like to extend a special thanks to Steve Killian Jr. from Killian Management Services. They've been our sponsor, premier sponsor, for the past 18 years. Our sporting clay shoot at the Highlands in Cascade, even though it was a drizzly day, 70 members and guests really enjoyed themselves out there and had a great time. Events such as these allow our members to network in a non-business setting and provide the Chamber with funds to fulfill our mission. Turning to our leadership program, we had 15 leaders that graduated this past May, and that brings the total to 496 since the program started back in 1990. We just started a new class in September, and this is the 30th class, so this is a wonderful legacy for Betty Pearson, who was the one that was the founder of the program. As part of that, thanks to our alumni board, we started last year our Youth Lead program for West Bend at Badger Middle School in partnership with the Chamber, and it's now in its second year. The mission of Youth Lead is to develop leadership talents and abilities and focuses on authentic community engagement to build character, compassion, action, responsibility, and learning. We've had 18 students who were selected by their 7th grade teachers because of their leadership potential. They will tour local organizations, speak to community leaders, participate in team building activities, and complete a service project. At the end of the year, they will receive recognition at 8th grade graduation. This program is designed to groom the young leaders and to keep our best and brightest here in our community. Turning to tourism, during 2019, we continued to utilize TV and social media to promote West Bend. Due to a reduction in our tourism funds, we dropped our TV advertising for Northern Illinois, but continue to target Madison, Green Bay, and the Fox Valley. We are also using YouTube, e-newsletters, Facebook, in all those markets. We just had our 12th annual Cash Bash, and for some folks, I think Troy, back in the day when you were our president and we were rolling that thing out, it's hard to believe that it's been 12 years. And we're already signed up for next year. I think we have about 400 people who have already signed up, and that's not until next August. We had 1,211 people that attended this year's event. That was 640 teams, and in addition, the geocachers came from 29 different states, from Canada, and surprisingly from Bulgaria. So you just never know where they're going to come from. And we see them in the community all through the year. It's proved to be a very successful program, and it brings in significant tourism dollars to our community. So it has a far-reaching and positive effect. Throughout the years, we've had a busy schedule of events. Countless meetings, press interviews, city and county activities, speaking engagements, and community service activities, along with providing aid and information to our members, to our residents, and to visitors. Our team is dedicated, and we get the job done. I would like to thank you, our members, and I mean all of you, thank you, for your ongoing support. A special thanks to West Bend, a mutual insurance company, for the use of this beautiful Prairie Center. I mean, is this not a spectacular place to hold a dinner? Also, a special thank you to Teresa Furbinger of Mutual. She has provided ongoing assistance for us ever since we got here, so we wouldn't be doing this without her assistance. I would also like to recognize everyone on our board for their contribution, commitment, and guidance, and ask them to please stand when I introduce them. Rob Steiner, President, Steiner Electric. Amy Schmolt, our Treasurer, Commerce State Bank. Dave Ertmer, our past president, and maybe always past president at West Bend Mutual. Andrew Niebler, Schlamer Law Firm. Dolph DeKooster, National Exchange Bank. Fuzz Martin, Epic Creative. Jay Shambo, Jay Shambo, City of West Bend, okay. Josh Shulman, Washington County. Nick Fink, In the Nick of Time Moving. And Nicole Petrie, Cedar Community. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize those board members that were not able to make it tonight. Alan Erickson, Freighter and Medical College, Wisconsin, St. Joe's Hospital. Austin Weber, Dayco Precision. Dave Hagemeyer, Supercuts. Don Kierkegaard, West Bend School District. Kirk Emmerich, Westbury Bank. Lori Hundermark, Aurora Medical, and Steve Killian Jr., Killian Management Services. Thanks to our wonderful ambassadors, those of you who are here tonight that have served us and our community in so many ways for all these years. And finally, my sincere thanks to my professional chamber partners, Debbie Santapalo, who is behind the screen, so there is somebody behind the screen here. Jill Notham, who of course is the one that put this whole thing together and does so well every year. And Lisa Dish Johnson, who has been our new addition and has been spectacular in taking over the leadership program and all of the other things that make our chamber tick. They are, in fact, the heartbeat of our chamber organization, and their dedication keeps it running smoothly. And quite frankly, I would be lost without them. Okay, thank you. Now to get to the next part, which is, I think you're going to find is very interesting. This is going to be a presentation from Jeff Potts, who is the Executive Director of the Historic West Bend Theater Incorporated. Jeff is the first Executive Director of the Historic West Bend Theater, also known as The Bend. Hired in July of this year after a nationwide search, Jeff brings more than 25 years of professional experience in community events, marketing, and nonprofit administration to The Bend. He is a former entertainment journalist, tourism marketing director, executive director of Habitat for Humanity affiliate, and this is the third theater building featured on the National Register of Historic Places that Jeff has been affiliated with. Previous theaters include a 1927 ballroom and an 1883 opera house, both in Oshkosh. Jeff's personal mission statement is, be different and make a difference. His friends call him Potsy, and when the Bend opens in the spring, he hopes that you will all be among his friends in the audience to celebrate. So please welcome Jeff Potsy Potts.
Thank you for having me, everybody. I'm really honored that within 5 minutes of meeting Craig, he said that the best way to get introduced to the West Bend community was to just throw me on stage at the annual meeting. So I'm honored to be here tonight to talk to you about something that I'm extremely passionate about, and that is old historic buildings that are getting a second chance at life. One quick thank you before I get started. I do want to thank my wife, Mandy. It's not every wife in the world that you come home one day and say, hey, how about we relocate to West Bend so that I can be the first employee of a nonprofit dedicated to showing movies and booking bands, and it'll be great. Believe me, it'll be great. So thank you for your belief in what we're doing, Mandy. So the Bend, we got to start at the beginning. Way back in 1928-ish, an architecture firm out of Chicago was hired to create a gathering space in our community. At the time, it was one of 4 theaters here in West Bend, and it was one of many that these guys designed all across the country. You'll notice the Alabama Theater in Birmingham, the Minnesota Theater that hasn't been around in many generations. They all share similar characteristics, and the big defining factor in all these, I believe, is that beautiful blade sign, and I think that's part of the reason we're still talking about this building today. Whoa, there we go. So our building officially opened up in November of 1929. What was unique about that for a vaudeville theater house was that exactly 1 month earlier there was the stock market crash. So vaudeville theater meant to capitalize on the roaring 20s. Suddenly people's incomes were diminished, not to mention that vaudeville itself was really on its last breath. So we opened up this great facility in 1929, and by 1933 the architects were out of business, vaudeville was done, and all we really had was movies. But fortunately at that time Hollywood was really just hitting its stride in the golden age, and movies were something that we could do well. Still, we had some star power. Gene Autry performed on our stage for 2 dates back in 1933. And a generation later, JFK at least walked past our building. And so I'm going to hang my hat on that one as well, because it's a really cool picture. Again, going back to that blade sign in the background. And I really do, again, I think that sign is part of the reason we're still talking about this great facility today. By the time we get to the 1980s, downtown West Bend looked really different than it did today, and hidden among that chaos, you still see that great sign. This was from 1981, and it was just a couple years prior that they had turned our single movie house into 2 screens. And what was kind of cool about the 1970s expansion was movies were just so darn popular, they were trying to meet demand. Much different story than in the early 90s, when they added a 3rd screen to our building. That was very much a call for help. But in the early 1990s, there was huge competition for our entertainment dollars. The internet was a new thing. Movies were dying because people brought them into their houses. And our theater put a 3rd screen and hoped that that would help save it. It did, for a little while. What they had found in its 70-year history since opening up is our community had a long tradition of going downtown and embracing cinema. And since I've gotten to town, I can't tell you how many folks I've talked to that have a great memory of seeing one of these movies on that big screen. And that's something we really hope to bring back and kind of capitalize on the nostalgia of our space. Then they closed. Simple as that. It was an era where literally every day across America, one of these gorgeous old movie palaces would shut its doors. And ours closed in November of 2006. That anniversary is actually coming up, and ironically, it's just 6 days before what would have been our 90th birthday. So November's kind of a big month for us around here. The building itself sat empty for about a decade. What I really believe kept it from getting torn down again was that beautiful blade sign. My understanding is that it was still a symbol for this community of pride, of just what downtown can mean, and I think that's pretty cool. It sat dark for about a decade, and there was talks of what do we do with this. It was clear that there was a movement across this country to save these beautiful old theater buildings, and we started to gain some momentum in this community. They formed a nonprofit organization. They quickly realized just how difficult this task of bringing something like this back to life is. Not just in terms of the money involved, but the manpower and the smarts behind it. This group, right here, if you recognize anybody in this picture, give them a big thank you. This is our board of directors. Yeah, go ahead. So these folks did the tough work of finding a national consultant that said, no, you guys aren't crazy, you can really do this. That consultant led to a market study which proved it was feasible. It showed how much this community would embrace this kind of idea. It even kind of set a budget for the project of somewhere around $3 million that we believed we could raise to do it. This group in the past 2 years has done all of that. They've gotten us listed on the National and State Historic Registers that allowed us to get some historic tax credits that are going to help fund this. They've literally gone out and raised more than $2 million added to those tax credits that can get us there. And at the end of the day, what these folks have done is more than just save a building. From the start, they wanted to do something awesome with it, and I really think they have. Earlier this year, they broke ground on the construction project. You'll see on one side of the screen there what it would have looked like once we got all the old seats out of there, and then an updated photo of just how we got some of that old paint off the walls and have kind of cleaned it up. When you're looking from the balcony, I think this is really going to be a great spot in the theater when we open up. Just a great point of view up there and feels real nice and cozy. But again, you can see just what the initial phases of this project, how dramatically it's changed that space. What's cool in the balcony, some of these decorative elements, and this is one of those examples of project creep. When they first got in here, they knew what it would take to fix it, and then all of a sudden, they discovered these gorgeous decorative elements that had been covered up with gaudy paint over the years. And so we've hired a restoration firm out of New Berlin, Conrad Schmidt Studios, and they're going to work to restore all these gorgeous elements in our theater. Even cooler, if any of you are familiar with the artist Chuck Dwyer, was a West Bend boy, he's going to come back and actually repaint some of these things in our theater. I just got a chance to meet with him on Monday, and just another really unique tie-in of how the entire community is kind of behind this project. We did need to update it, some modern amenities. Two big things we did is we flattened part of the floor. Simple reason, we wanted to add a bar in there, and then we needed a place to put some tables for meetings and such. So that's the front of our house. And then we also expanded our stage so that we can better accommodate musical acts and theater and anything else that kind of gave it limitations back in that vaudeville era. To be completely honest though, our efforts only go so far. There's some things that we just won't be able to tackle. One of them is the fly system on there. I just think that's a really cool picture. Unfortunately, all that old technology just will go, and we're going to figure out other ways to fly our equipment behind stage and to add our curtains and travelers and such. This picture was just taken a couple weeks ago. I think it really shows the great progress of what's happening in there. Right now it's filled with scaffolding and they're working on plaster. We're probably about 70% of the way done in the project. Most of the infrastructure is is finished, and now it's a matter of just putting all the pieces together. So what everybody wants to know is what's next. What I can tell you is last night we had our annual board of directors meeting, and our board approved a fairly aggressive programming schedule. What we're looking to do when we open up next year is program 180 days out of the year. That's practically every other day. It's a high volume of events. We're going to look to go back to our roots. We've always been a movie house, and we will do that again. We're not necessarily interested in showing first-run new movies or doing second-run films, things that just came out. Instead, we're going to focus in on classics and new classics. And sadly, new classics are things that took place in like the 90s and early 2000s. And when you start putting these things together, I'll tell you, it can kind of make you feel old to know that, you know, Toy Story is a 25-year-old movie. Outside of films, music, theater, comedy, anything we can do to tap into some touring artists from Milwaukee, Minneapolis. If we can get a good deal on somebody for our little venue, we want to bring them in there. We're also going to look to do some outside rentals, and probably that last one's the most fun, is just original programming. And this is going to be finding ways to get involved in the farmers market on Saturday mornings or in the evenings in the summer. This is really where creativity comes into play, and it's one of the parts of programming that I'm most excited about. We've set some pretty aggressive goals as well. 180 performance nights. Our budget shows we've got to attract about 120 people per event. And when you're there, I'm going to ask you very nicely to spend $6 at the concession stand. That's a soda and a popcorn or an adult beverage. Hopefully 2, and I know some of you in the room, and 3 would be fine too, because that's all going to help our bottom line. What's neat about the way we also built our budget too is we're not going to go around and just ask for donation after donation. We've built it so that we're a nonprofit, so we're not going to get away with not fundraising, but we've built this in a way that all of our fundraising dollars are going to go directly towards programming. Everything else, we're going to roll up our sleeves and we're going to work really hard to earn that income ourselves. And I think that's a really great progressive model for a nonprofit, especially a new one. And then lastly, this is our roots, this is our mission. We're looking to provide a space where people can simply come and create memories. And I think we've got just the right space for it. So this is kind of my mantra on this. We're not in the business of selling tickets, we're selling an experience. And when I talk about putting $4 million into this, $3 million to fix the building, another $1 million in upgrades, I think you guys are going to find this worthwhile when we open up in the spring and you walk into this, because it's pretty dramatic. If you remember seeing a movie in there, this doesn't look anything like it would have back 5 generations ago, 4 generations ago, let alone a year ago. And this is just going to be remarkable, and it truly is going to be a wonderful gift for our community. The last thought I'll leave you guys with is we are about 90% of the way there. And that's pretty darn good for a $4 million project. If there's anybody in this room that this story resonates with and you have the means to help, whether that's time, talent, or treasure, even creativity, we need it, we'll take it. At the moment, I'm the only employee. We've got a fantastic board of directors. We have got an army of volunteers ready to go, but we will continue to need this community's support to ensure that this building doesn't fall peril to its history of closing down again someday. And it's easy to do. 180 events next year. If everybody in this room comes to 1, we're doing good. And if you all buy 2 beers, we're going to be doing really good. So that's what I ask of you tonight is find us on social media, get engaged. If you like what we're doing, tell me. If you don't like what we're doing, John Chirinas is your man. Thank you very much.
And Jeff, I do have to say that your story was repeated, or actually was before yours. About 14 years ago, I told my wife that we were moving to West Bend. So history repeats itself. Okay, we finally come to the point where we start to talk about winners. Congratulations to all of the finalists. There are so many worthy companies that it's made our award committee's job extremely difficult this year. Each finalist receives a framed certificate. If you don't have yours, see a member of the chamber, and a lot of them are right back on those tables right behind you there. So take it before you leave. As we announce this year's winners, we would like to welcome them to make a brief comment when they accept their award. Following the award presentation, we ask that all of the winners return to the podium so that you can all have your pictures done. And Rob is already up here. I don't even have to ask you. I've got it well trained. And I think I have part of Jeff's speech here. Okay, I'll give it to you later. Our first award is for Small Employer of the Year, and the finalists are American Construction Services Incorporated, B&L Graphic Solutions, and Excel, a U.S. Cellular Authorized Agent, Design to Construct Development Corporation, Dunn Brothers Coffee, Educators Credit Union, Hanson and Company Real Estate, In the Nick of Time Moving, Jeff Spirits on Main, Laura Mitchell Consulting, MSI General, Network Pro Wisconsin, RSM Property Management and Realty, Richards Insurance, Savoring Time, Schlamer Law Firm, SC, and the West Bend Cinema. Let's give an award for all those people, please. The winner is a business that opened in West Bend Branch back in 2016. And since then, the staff has passionately served residents and the community in many ways. They are passionate about serving both their members and their employees. They regularly support local community events and sponsor the Farmers Market, Ninja Mud Run, Music on Main, German Fest. The staff volunteer for Big Brother and Big Sister of Washington County, the Washington County Humane Society, and Leadership West Bend, just to mention a few. This year they made a significant impact on the new Youth League program for 8th graders looking to build leadership skills. The winner is Educators Credit Union, and accepting is Monica Herring.
I just want to say thank you for welcoming educators to the community. We are open to anybody, not just teachers. We're about educating and advising our members and helping in the community. And if you stop in and see it, my wonderful staff are very willing to help anybody save money, help with your finances, start your kids' accounts. So please stop in and see us. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Our next award is for the Medium Employer of the Year. The finalists are Affiliated Clinical Services Incorporated, Commerce State Bank, Epic Creative, Fox Brothers Piggly Wiggly, National Exchange Bank and Trust. This business was founded in a garage in Port Washington in 1989 and then moved to West Bend shortly thereafter and has operated from a few different offices on Progress Drive. In 2017, they moved to the former headquarters of the Museum of Wisconsin Art. They have been listed by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel as a top workplace for the past 5 years and recently received the Best Places to Work from the Milwaukee Business Journal. As a member of the West Bend community, they support many nonprofit and charitable organizations, including the Hub Volunteer Center, Enchantment in the Park, Habitat for Humanity, the Wisconsin 9/11 Memorial, United Way, Life of Hope, West Bend Riverwalk, Family Promise, and many others. The winner is Epic Creative, and accepting is Buzz Martin.
Well, thank you very much. This is a great honor to win and a great anniversary, I a gift for our 30th anniversary, and we're proud to be in the West Bend community. We're proud to work with all the nonprofit partners that we work with in town, and of course, thank you to all of our great clients, and most of all our employees who make it a fun place to work and allow us to create beautiful, awesome creative that helps sell stuff for people every day, and makes it a great place to go in every day. So we're a great example of hard work is easy when you're having fun, and we thank the Chamber for the award and the recognition, and thanks to the West Bend community.
Congratulations, Buzz. Very first time that I walked into Epic, of course, they were down on Progress, and I met with Jim and Sandy, and Jim had a badge that said Fun Meter on it. So I knew that this was going to be a great partnership, and they proved to be every bit as spectacular in the way they support our communities I thought they would be. So congratulations. Our next award is in the Large Business of the Year category, and the finalists are Cedar Community, Freighter and Medical College, Wisconsin, St. Joseph's Hospital Campus, Manitou Equipment America, LLC, Washington County Human Service Department. For more than 65 years, this organization has been only not-for-profit, faith-based life plan community serving older adults in the West Bend area. They are the home to nearly 1,000 residents in independent living, assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing. Their team members are at the heart for the care that they provide to their residents, but they also volunteer hundreds of hours of service supporting other West Bend organizations, including the Alzheimer's Association, Interfaith Caregivers of Washington County, the Volunteer Center of Washington County, Leadership and Youth League West Bend Public Schools, West Bend Senior Center, and many, many more organizations. The winner is Cedar Community, and accepting is Lynn Olson.
Won't that long intro, you don't need to hear much from me, but really the winners of this award are the 350 team members that work so hard every day to care for the people we're charged with. I've got 5 of them here tonight, and there's another 200 that are out doing their job. So we're thankful for them primarily. We also have, I was told this just today, 436 community volunteers that work on our campus on a regular basis every year. So that's really about community. And when I first started here, I asked why our name was Cedar Community and not Communities, because we had 4 locations in 2 different counties. And my predecessor said this, Steve J. Berg. He said, it's not about how many locations we have, it's how we choose to live in community with one another. We've seen evidence of that here tonight with the theater presentation. We're proud to be a part of this community and to be just one of the many ways to make this a better place to live. Thanks.
Congratulations. Okay, then comes the Community Agency of the Year. The finalists are Chicks for a Cause, LTD, Downtown West Bend Association, Elevate Incorporated, History Center of Washington County, Interfaith Caregivers of Washington County, Kettle Moraine YMCA, Life of Hope, NAMI Washington County Incorporated, Senior Citizens Activity Incorporated, and UWM at Washington County. This organization has been serving the West Bend area since 1999 and is the only organization in the county that provides non-clinical support services for individuals with mental illness and those who care for them. Unique to their service provision is the use of volunteer peer workers throughout the organization. Peer support and leadership empower people to make best decisions for themselves and to strive towards their goals in the community. During the previous year, 2,856 hours of programming were provided to 1,629 adults, with an additional 666 hours being provided to 568 teenagers. The winner is NAMI of Washington County, accepting is Lisa Krenke.
Well, I'm not Lisa Grenke. Lisa's our executive director. And yesterday she found out she has pneumonia. So that's why she's not here. My name is Suzanne Milkus. I am on the board and I've been volunteering in a couple of different capacities with NAMI. And I just want to say thank you. It's quite an honor.
Now we come to our new member of the year. The finalists are Better Business Bureau, Eaton's Fresh Pizza, Grand Care Systems LLC, The Garden Lounge, and Witty's Vegetable Market. This company returned to West Bend just 15 months ago after a 15-year absence. One of their core values is to ensure that their employees are appreciated for their efforts and commitment to excellence. They do this through an environment where staff can contribute ideas for business improvement. When it comes to giving back to the community, they have provided support to the Health Music Night, Walk to End Alzheimer's, West Bend East Soccer's team food drive, the Art Walk, Holy Angels School, St. John's School, Children's Theater, and many others. The winner is Eaton's Fresh Pizza, accepting as Corey Foss.
Wow, what a great honor. Joining the chamber has been just wonderful to meet new people. Getting back to West Bend, just been an unbelievable experience for us. My wife, so supportive in our move. We actually came up from Kiel 15 months ago with a huge burden on our plate to open up a restaurant that was here 15 years ago, and it was such an honor to actually receive it, such a surprise. And thank you so much to West Bend. Really appreciate it.
This year, our Volunteer of the Year Award for dedication to the West Bend Area Chamber and the community is being given to two extraordinary individuals. The first award is being given to a person that became active as soon as he joined the chamber. He jumped right on the committee for our annual sporting clay shoot. His input and enthusiasm have been invaluable, especially since he has experienced work with a previous chamber on this type of event. Not only does he give his time, he also has helped our events with sponsorships, donations, and recruiting people to participate. Our first volunteer award goes to Jay Craig of MSI. Good prize.
This is a surprise. I didn't know that I was nominated or going to win anything, so I just wish to thank everybody. It's been an honor to be a part of this community and a part of the historic West Bend Theater. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Jay, we have elves on the shelves that are the ones that usually are able to figure out who needs to be included. Our second Volunteer of the Year recognizes a person that always seems to be there when you need help. She doesn't hesitate to volunteer, and she always comes with a smile and a ready-to-go attitude. She catches on very quickly, which is extremely important given the crazy things that Jill has her do. Our golf outing, cash bash, sporting clay shoot have all run more smoothly thanks to her assistance. In addition, she has been a chamber ambassador for many years. Her service is greatly appreciated by our entire chamber staff. The award goes to Ann Johnson, Freighter and Medical College of Wisconsin, St. Joseph's Hospital.
Wow, this is a huge surprise. Thank you so much to the Chamber. Great organization to volunteer with. I feel very fortunate to be a part of it. Everything that I am able to be a part of, I love doing. Get to meet so many great people from the community. So we have a wonderful community here, and I'm very proud to be an ambassador. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Dan. Okay, we're down really to the last award, which is my award. I like to give out an award and personally select whoever is going to get it on the basis of looking at folks that don't usually get recognized. They do extraordinary things, and yet they kind of go unnoticed. This person was critical to solving an ongoing chamber problem, namely the desperate need for a health insurance program for our medium to small members. Without his help, it is unlikely that we'd be any closer to finding a solution. My director's award was to Tim Jerzy of Richards Insurance.
Well, thank you. Very much a surprise for me. I didn't expect this at all. Glad I could help out in the community somehow, and hopefully ongoing for many years to come. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, well, congratulations to all of the winners. This concludes the presentation portion of our event, but please feel free to continue to network. To all of you, thank you and good night. And if you've got badges and you'd like to leave them in a basket, that would be a great thing because they cost us a lot of money and we're a non-profit organization. Also, if the winners will come back up so we can get your picture done. But thank you. We had a great attendance tonight. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. And drive safe going home.